recently, Mattel put up a brand new MOTU Origins figure on Mattel Creations. Wun Dar, the Savage He-Man, a figure I have actually quite a lot of experience with, professionally and YouTube-y. It's not really a word. And, well, this figure sold out really fast, a lot faster than fans were even able to get online and purchase one.
Yeah, it's the ticking clock!
Which left a lot of fans questioning why? Why make such an awesome figure if we can't even get it? Alright, let's just take a quick step back at the origins of this Origins figure. So for years, and I mean decades, fans were under the impression it was a Wonder Bread promotion, hence Wun Dar, but it actually was not. It was a promotion from a buy 3 get 1 free promo that was actually baked into the original sales pitch of Masters of the Universe to the sales force, where a 9th mail-away figure was promised that would help create collectability and a fan base. And the figure that you got, if you bought 3 and mailed away, was this guy, a repaint He-Man with 2 to 3 repaint weapons that were taken from a larger batch of red-colored weapons. And none of this required new tooling, which is the least expensive figure to put out. The weapons, as I said, were from a batch tool that had all the weapons from the Castle Grayskull weapon rack, including the ones that were used for this figure, just cast in red. The figure didn't get all of them, just usually a handful. And then on the aftermarket, regardless of whether you got 2, 3, or 4 of the weapons, fans chose to make this figure, I guess, less naked by giving him the extra harness battle armor that came with the weapon pack. So since there was an extra available armor, hey, you had a figure without armor, it felt like a perfect match. I mean, I suppose you could have given him Beastman's armor, but, I guess his armor was a little bit more heroic looking. It was Zodak's armor in black. Well, all of these great laid plans came to a crashing end, unfortunately, due to an angry letter, where a mother was upset that this free figure she sent away for turned out to be just a, if you will, cheap repaint of He-Man. And while this might have only been one letter, it's very common to extrapolate that if you have one, for every sort of angry fan that actually writes in, there's probably 500 plus that have the same feeling, they just don't take the time to write. So, in order to avoid future angry letters, Mattel management just decided to cut off the promotion. All of the excess stock of the loose figure in a baggie, without armor, without weapons, was sent to different supermarkets around the country for regional and local promotions. And the extra weapons were then redistributed to the next figure in production, which happened to be Man-E-Faces, which is why the first couple 100,000, not 100,000, I'm guessing maybe 20,000, who knows the number, but the first batch of Man-E-Faces came with these weapons that were intended to be the selection of weapons that would have gone with this Savage He-Man giveaway. Alright, so that's what happened to the stock. What about the legacy of this figure? Well, in Masters of the Universe Classics, it was decided to make this figure a subscription-only figure, because again, low tooling, and it paid homage to sort of, at the time, was a MOTU mystery, not knowing really where he came from, which is why the figure included a newly tooled loaf of bread, the only newly tooled part, because, well, it added to the humor, it added to the fun, and it made the figure at least even more different visually from the regular He-Man, because, the regular He-Man didn't carry around a loaf of bread. And to further add to said humor or trademark infringement, there were 3 dots added to the bottom of the armor that were an allusion to the Wonder Bread logo. It wasn't the actual logo, don't sue us.
That's the joke.
Alright. So part of the reason for doing Wun Dar in Classics was to make this character a marketable figure, which has happened, because now this figure is showing up, granted as an easy repaint, but as a legitimate character, not just He-Man with brown hair. And it's kind of funny how now he's officially showing up with the Zodak armor from the weapon pack, even though that never came with the original figure. It was an aftermarket add-on by fans. And the figure has also shown up in content, and that exactly is the point. That's why he was put into Classics, not as concept He-Man or mail-away He-Man, but as a legitimate original character, Wun Dar, named after Wonder Bread, which at the time was assumed to be part of the promotion, turned out not to be. But yeah, it's what's made Wun Dar now a legitimate character who is merchandisable, who you can sell figures of, and not just say, oh, this is Ralph McQuarrie Han Solo. No, this is a legitimate character. And Origins has clearly been trying to get this character into the line for quite a while. Originally, he was offered as one of the 4 slots in the fan choice contest. The winner wound up being Mini-Comic Triclops. But all of the characters, you'll notice, are very minimal or no tooling. And that's what you need to do, because you have to make sure whoever your winner is going to have the same amount of tooling. You can't have one candidate that has way more tooling versus another, because it throws off the budget. So he's a good candidate for a low-tooled figure. And again, going back to the Classics figure, he was armored up with a variety of sort of He-Man-esque and Zodak-esque weapons. He had Zodak's gun in black, the armor from the weapon pack, He-Man's sword in black, and then, of course, that loaf of bread to add to the humor aspect. It's interesting that the Origins figure comes with some of the Man-E-Face's weapons that did originally come with him, except for the gun. And this I don't quite understand, because the axe and the sword are sort of correct, but the gun that was originally one of a pool of weapons that could have shipped with the mail-away figure, but later reassigned to Man-E-Face's, that was not part of the set. That gun, which was for Zodak, was not included with Man-E-Face's in any way. It was not Man-E-Face's gun, the one that wound up on the Yellow Lion from Voltron, or Savage He-Man. So yeah, I'm just like, what the what? Why would they include this gun in red? It doesn't. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. The point is, it's sort of a spreadsheet bashed together Wun Dar. But the issues that fans have aren't the inclusion of the gun in the wrong color, but it's the fact that it's sold out so quickly. And why is this? I mean, personally, to me, the gun was the bigger crime, but all right, let's move beyond that. Here's what I hypothesize, is this was a San Diego Comic-Con item. And I do have some experience with this.
You consider failure experience?
When you're making a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, usually you're going to try to make it as low tooling as possible because it's going to have a lower production run compared to a retail item, which is why repaints of the main character work so well, and Wun Dar, Savage He-Man, whatever you want to call him, fits all of those categories. Low tooling, repaint of main character, highly recognizable, and it also appeals to hardcore fan bases. So why do I think this is a San Diego Comic-Con item? Well, looking around, we're really close to Comic-Con, and a lot of companies, meaning pretty much almost every major toy company at this point, has started to show off their San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. Whether or not San Diego Comic-Con is the full show we expected it to be or not, everyone is getting into at least the show-off game so that fans can know what cool items they can expect because of the show allowing an extra slot to open up. That's what I always saw Comic-Con as, is the opportunity to have yet another slot to do awesome stuff for fans. I can't wait to get that mojo. All right, so with every company showing their exclusives, their shared exclusives, yada, 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 well, there's one company that hasn't shown any exclusives, and yes, you can probably guess where I'm going with this. So with Mattel's current exclusives being an empty blank page, I am making the extrapolation, because it fits all of the boxes, is that Wun Dar, this Origins Wun Dar, was originally intended to be a Comic-Con exclusive, but with Comic-Con being on the fence, Mattel has a warehouse full of these, or at least as many as they produced, and they don't know what to do with it, and they're saying, okay, we just need to ship these as fast as possible, because at the end of the day, that's all any SKU is. It's a thing taking up space. What the fans think of this SKU is absolutely secondary to a thing taking up space in a warehouse. So plan A, plan B might be out the window. Plan C is just ship it, get it out as quickly as possible. We have to open up space in the warehouse for more product that's coming in. That's why it sold out so fast. It wasn't produced in the quota high enough for all of the fans. It was only produced, I believe, in the limited San Diego Comic-Con production quota. And I kind of know this from the final MOTU Classics item, the Rotar and Twistoid, besides the fact that the new team put their names on backwards. They didn't produce enough of these. They only produced enough units of this 2-pack to sell at the show, and which is a much lower quota than actually the rest of the line had, because the rest of the line was based on subscribers. When I was running the line, one of the things I did with an apples-to-apples comparison is we would produce enough for the show, but we would also produce enough for the subscribers, knowing all the subscribers were going to want one. With the Roton and Twistoid pack, that didn't happen, which is why it sold out fast. Same thing with Wun Dar. Only enough units were made for the show. I don't know this as a fact, but based on my experience, based on just, I guess, dealing with similar situations, and honestly, what Sherlock Holmes called the balance of probabilities is usually the most likely outcome. So that's my guess. Wun Dar, a Comic-Con exclusive that was put online to get rid of the inventory as fast as possible, which is always what any company is going to do. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it clarified some of the issues around Wun Dar selling out so fast. Why his gun is red and not black, I still don't understand, but hey, as long as we're all getting toys, doesn't anything else matter? Thanks for watching, thanks for sharing. See you in the next video.